Here I'm going to show you the second part of chapter 5, talking about reducción. We're going to have two parts to this. The first one is the reduction of consonants. These are basically when there are two repeating consonants next to each other, you eliminate one, because in fluid speech you don't hear two repeating consonants in Spanish. In really slow speech you hear el lago, but in normal speech you hear el lago. So that's why your phonetic transcriptions has to show that reduction of similar consonants. So I'm going to start here with labeling my consonants and vowels. I am going to ignore the periods. I have a double consonant here, so I will eliminate one, and that's what the point of this lesson is. Once you have eliminated one of the repeating consonants, then you go back to your regular rules, ignoring spaces between words. This is rule number 1. This is rule number 1. Therefore, when you go ahead and put it in the transcription without capital letters and without final periods, this is how it looks, el lago. Similarly, you do the same thing for repeating vowels, vocales. Okay, la reducción consonántica y la reducción vocálica. One of the conditions is that they both have to be, not both of them can be stressed. So the example I have is este estudiante. Okay. What we have here is just simply, let's do this labeling. Ignore the periods, ignore the spaces, ignore capital letters. I am going to see that I have two similar vowels. They are both unstressed. That means neither carry a stress. And you just have to make sure you can do that. I'll show you another example where both of them actually have the stress on them. They don't have any accent marks, so go ahead and eliminate one of them. Because in fast speech, in slow speech, you hear it, este estudiante. But in normal speech, it's actually este estudiante. You kind of eat up that repeated vowel there. So I am going to physically do that so that when you are doing your coding, you don't bring that down. Then you go back to your normal rules that we learned in chapter 1 and 2. ST is not a cluster in Spanish, so this is rule number 3. Vowel to vowel, ST again is not a cluster in Spanish. Rule number 1, we have two vowels here. This is a weak vowel, therefore we have a diphthong and they don't divide. And NT is not a cluster in Spanish, nor in English, and therefore we have rule number 3. And that's when we just pull that all down, no capital letters. And this is the magic where it happens. That when you hear this in fast speech, this is what you're hearing. Este estudiante. Remember to check for diphthongs. I cannot have two vowels here, so this is an I in the first position of a diphthong, and it changes to the semiconsonant. The other example that I was going to tell you was when you do have the vowel where you have two stressed or accented one. And the example that I use in your book, in the notes, is habló Oscar. This is what I mean by having two accented O's. It is very important that you take note of that. When they both carry accents, there is no vowel reduction, okay? That does not happen because it's important to stress both of them. Habló Oscar. So this will just happen the normal. I'm going to cross this out because it's an H, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, vowel, consonant. I do have similar vowels, but because they both carry stresses, I don't eliminate either of them. This is this is a cluster, so this is rule number 2. Two stressed vowels is a hiato, that's rule number 7. SC in Spanish is not a cluster, it is in English, so that's rule number 3. And this consonant simply hangs on to the end of that. And when we rewrite it, no capital letters, H goes away, and we repeat here the repeating O's. On the other hand, when we do have stresses, it's okay to have something like this. El amigo Oscar. Here the O is unstressed and that one is stressed. So what happens is we will remove the unstressed O. You never reduce, only when there are two stressed vowels. Like I said, I'm going to make sure I analyze that really quickly. I'm going to remove that first one that does not have the accent on it. No capital letters, no periods. And I'm going to go ahead and analyze. Vowel to vowel is rule number 1. Vowel to vowel is rule number 1. Vowel to vowel is rule number 1. Vowel to vowel with two consonants there. SC in Spanish is not a cluster, so it's vowel rule number 3, and the consonant hangs on there. So when I rewrite it, it will be lowercase letter. That's the O that I'm going to carry over. Remember, no capital letters in phonetic transcriptions. Oh, what am I doing here? It says sequence, so they both get separated. And we're done.